you. My name is Honorable Temitope Adewale, member Lagos State House of Assembly, representing the good people of Ifakojai. So, with your first question, I don't know if I should be serious with you or I should just, like you said, on a lighter note. First year gone, three to go. So it's getting closer to another election. So obviously, you know how I feel about election and then campaign. So well, so far, I think it's been an amazing journey so far. Lots of experiences. I've seen things I thought I knew in a different light. I've seen legislature at its best. I've met with people who have different ideas and different perceptions towards life. There are 40 members with 40 different ideologies, different backgrounds, but yet we have to come together to agree for a particular purpose of policy making for the state, Lagos State. So, yes, it's been an interesting year for me. There's so much more that could be achieved that we want to achieve, and I'm almost feeling like 4 years is not enough. So, the first year, I would say we've done very well. The House itself has done very well in terms of passing bills and making laws. I've done very well in terms of representation to the people and for the people. So yes, the first 1 year, I feel great. I feel like I've achieved almost everything I've set out to achieve in the first year. Yes. Unfortunately, my principles are very that quite different. I'm not of the opinion I should blow my trumpet, but however, in political settings, I've heard many people say you have to say or put out what you've done for the people. So in my first month, I think the first thing I did was I gave out free GCE forms to the youth in the faculty. I think we gave out 100 forms. We gave out 50 to the political party and 50 to the people, the general masses on merit. So what we did basically was we gave the CDC, the CDA, the less privileged, the youth, the women, the aged for the children's, and then so we spread across all cadres of people living in the Fakojai. And afterwards, I think I really can't remember what happened, but then we did the free jam forms. We did the free jam forms for all the residents in the Fakojai. All the residents, BU, PDP, BU, APC, APGA, as long as you have your LASRA ID and you live and reside in the Fakojai, even though you don't have it, but your mother or one of your parents has it, you will get free jam forms. And I think we give out about 350 jam forms to the people. In terms of facility and human capital development, we've been able to secure admissions for quite a number of people. We've also given out employment to people. In terms of infrastructure, we've worked on many roads. Many roads. First, was the College Road, the Jewish Agar Road, where we brought the Public Works Corporation to come and do the resurfacing and sectioned fixing of the road. We've in the budget. Well, before then, and I was appointed as the chairman House Committee on Transportation. We've been able to make laws that would help govern the state. That's in terms of legislature now. We've done quite a number of laws, and the transport sector reform law, which I recently concluded, has been given to the governor as well, so for his assent. And we've worked on many other roads. The Abiola Onijemo, which was costing about close to about 4.6 billion, has been awarded the contract with Lagos State's governor to our community, Fakojai. We've done the general hospital, like the primary healthcare centers as well. The public schools, we've written to the governor for help, and then we've gotten help. We've taken out the roof, we've renovated the schools, and there's a lot more we're trying to work on. We have different programs coming up that we've also initiated, which has to do with the free drinking water for all by installing boreholes in the 7 wards we have, which is ongoing at the moment. Human welfare, in terms of, because the budget for the year commenced on the 1st of January. If you understand the budget cycle, it takes 360 days and it starts from the first day of the year. So I haven't passed the budget for His Excellency Governor Sanwo-Olu. What we've witnessed is that the first month, which is where they put everything together in terms of financial structure, payments and things, and then the second is always the activation and initialization point. Well, fortunately for us, we had the COVID scenario, which stopped a lot of productivity and activities within the state. And then, as soon as the COVID came, we reached out to the people immediately. We had to give succor to people, and then we give out the first palliative. What we've done is we've done the palliatives in 5 stages. And in the 5 stages, we had the first stage where we worked with the party and the people. The second stage was where we worked with the CDC, the CDAs, we worked with the NGOs, and then we worked with the people, the less privileged, the NATA, and all the association committees in the Ifakojai. So what we've done basically in the first year is that we've been able to capture the needs of the people, and we've also been able to make sure that we present their needs to the governor, at the same time making sure human welfare and capital welfare is taken care of. So that's what we've done in the first year. The law, the restriction of Okada, the motorcycles, had been in place since 2012, and it has been in existence where they were stopped from a number of routes in Lagos State. So what the governor, His Excellency Babajide Sanwo-Olu, did was just to reactivate the law. And what he had done was he had restricted them from major highways, bridges, and some particular local governments within the state. And what that has done was there was heavy influx or the daily influx of 6,000 people coming to Lagos State, as at when it was recorded, was anticipated that over 6,000 people daily migration coming to Lagos State, and you see these people coming to the state on Friday, and on Saturday they learn how to ride the bikes, and on Monday they start riding it. So, and we have quite a number of general hospitals in Lagos State. I think we have about 24 of them. I can't remember vividly the number. And it was oversaturated with people with accidents. Oversaturated. All the primary healthcare centers could not even handle them anymore. They moved them to orthopedic hospital and then the general hospital. So it was more of life. It was more of safety and lives of the people. If you check carefully, and we also have to be very grateful. I'm thankful to the people of Lagos, the Lagosians, for adhering to the laws and for understanding the plight of the government and the people as well. It had to do with not just the safety but also the security. And if we are looking at achieving the blueprint that Lagos State government has, which is the ITS, Integrated Travel System, then you will understand that there is a need for us to gradually eradicate the bikes within the major highways, the CBDs, and the central business districts as well. So what the transport model was is very simple. It is where the rail connects the waterways and then the land transport. So that's what is called the integrated travel system, where you have a mass transit. What we're trying to do is to reduce the number of vehicular movements on the road, so as to have, when we have 10 people with 10 cars, will now become 10 people with 10 cars, but in one bus. So we're trying to make the transport system as lucrative and as attractive as possible, so we can attract the FDIs, the investments from the foreign direct investment, and at the same time make people very comfortable to ride on these buses. If you realize, the governor recently, well, maybe about a month ago, also added 14 new boats to the fleet, and these are doing very well. Also, he released 65 buses immediately to succor the ban of the Okadas in some particular areas. And now the transport model system, where you have the Trunk A road and then you have other roads that they are opening up the BRT lanes. We have new BRT lanes. He has added 5 more rail lines to the red and the blue, making it 7. People have come to bid for it, and they've done the first tender, and it's a good positive result. The blue line is about 75% completed. The red line is completed, but then we're adding more to it, to the tracks. So what it means is that the federal government has completed the red line. Now it's going to be track sharing, where Lagos State government will be able to track share with the federal government with existing rails. They already opened the corridor from to Abule Egba, which means that corridor is also open for operations. And if you realize, we are not getting the complaints or the shouts about the Okada again. Now, safety and security is top notch, because nobody is saying I've been boggled and by bike men on the bridge, on the road, and then now everybody is beginning to use the alternative means of transportation. The major problem we're faced in Lagos State is traffic. And the only way we can eradicate or reduce traffic and reduce travel time is by doing what is necessary, which is to integrate our transport system. We cannot stop the number of people coming into Lagos because of the constitution. At the same time, we cannot stop the number of people buying cars to show off wealth. But what we can do is to make sure we provide a mass transit that is very attractive and that will work. If you live in Ikorodu and you need to get to the island, all you need to do is use the boat. We have the badges as well. You can put your car on the badge. Rather, you come through the road, you put your car on the badge so you can drive your car on the island. Yes, Lagos State government has 2 badges and they're purchasing new more badges. So this has been in existence, and these are the things that we're trying to work on to make sure we improve. We've seen series of accidents on our roads, series of containers falling over the bridge and the rest of them. So what Lagos State government is trying to do is your containers will move from the port authority down to the 3 zones in Lagos State, which is Badagry, Ekpe, and Ikorodu. So up countries, up towns, that up states coming to pick up their containers won't need to drive through the metropolis to get to Apapa. You either pick up at Badagry and you go your way, or you pick up at Ikorodu and you find your way, or you pick up at Ekpe to find your way. So I mean, the transport system would work fantastically well with time. But we'll just have to continue to be patient and continue to believe in the government. Transport system, yeah. You're saying that we're going to have the same opportunity. Now, the state government cannot reach out to every environment at the same time. That's why we have the bus reform. The bus reform is giving opportunities to private investors as well to come and invest in the bus services, where we have bus operators, just like you have the LBSL, Lagos State Bus Services. We're going to have private investors as well coming in on our corridors and having exclusive rights to run on these corridors. So what we're trying to do in a sense is that the ban on the Okada is not total ban in Lagos State. Yeah. It is in some particular areas, especially the CBD. So they still run in our roads. So they will continue to operate on the inner roads until there is a concrete alternative to them being on the road. So for late nights, of course, even in the overseas or the foreign countries, you have particular time when the bus services, the train shuts down and then the bus services shut down. Then you can resolve to having the likes of the Uber, the Taxify, and the rest of them, or those who are actually existing and work late. So these are other opportunities and alternatives that are already in place. So you would agree with me that the transport system is one of the most delicate systems in any government, and to have the traffic system integrated into having a free flow of traffic and vehicular movement takes a lot, and it takes time as well. So we'll continue to give all kudos to His Excellency Babajide Sanwo-Olu for the vision he has for the traffic system or the transport system. And then, we'll continue to say that it is very important that the people of Lagos, the Lagosians, should abide by the laws of the land when it comes to traffic system, transportation, and the traffic laws. Like I said to you, the bus reform is ongoing. As you can see, I'm still reading some documents that we're working on. So what we've done is there are 7 zones in Lagos State that we're increasing transport system. What we've done is we've highlighted the flashpoint areas where we have massive influx or vehicular movement, and that's where we're giving the first circle. So if I read the bus reform scheme in front of me, it says that the first zone is the Ikeja and K2 zone. The second zone is Oshodi to Mushin and then Surulere. The third is Yaba, Bega, Oyigbo. The fourth one is Lagos Island, Aja, then Yanopaja and Agege, which is the 5th one. And then we have the Mile 2, Yanopaja, Yanoba, and Ajiromi. Then the 7th is the Ikorodu Road. So what this basically means is that we've just newly constructed the bus terminal at Iju, Ifakojaye. Yes, which you're aware of, about to commission. And it will be running, because Ifakojaye happens to be a border town with Lagos State, where we have with Ogun State, where we have about 4 border points into the state, into the local government. So we'll be running from Agege. Agege will be the terminal point. Then we'll have smaller buses. The smaller buses, because the big buses, the high capacity buses, our roads are not wide enough to make the turn-ins and all. So we have the smaller buses that will take people from different locations in the local government and then stop at the interchange or at the bus terminal, where you can now reach out to the big buses and now go through the BRT lane. So what they've done is that there's a road network for the state government being worked on by the executive, where all areas, indoor areas, inner routes, would meet at a particular bus terminal, and then they have the ride on the big buses, and that will terminate at every point, either to the railway or to the waterways. So it's all encompassing. It's an idea that it's holistic when it is done. So we'll continue to plead the negotiations to have to continue to exercise patience and watch as we unfold things that the executive and the commissioner for transport, which I must also respect and give all kudos to for his vision, and also the governor and the deputy governor for doing a good job in governing our state. In terms of the BRT, I think it's also very important to continue to enlighten ourselves regarding the process. So there are two operators. There's the LBSL, which is the Lagos State Controlled Investment, and there's the Primero. The Primero is a privately owned investment. So what happened is during the COVID period, we all saw the effect on the economy, and it's been very tough both on the government and private investors, as well as the individuals and the citizens of the country. However, what is happening is with the new guidelines and regulations, we've seen where the government has said to private investors that you cannot have social number full capacity on your buses, but yet there's no subsidy on the fuel. So which means if I run a full tank at 10,000 naira for 15 passengers, now I'm still running the same full tank at 10,000 naira, but now for 5 passengers. So where 15 passengers will pay me 10 naira and I will get 150 naira. Now I only have 5 passengers to pay the 10 naira and I get 50 naira. So they will run at a loss. And one way or the other, for them to also continue to provide the need to transport people from point A to point B, they would have to look for a way. And I think the government is in talks with them. We've also seen situations whereby the downfall drivers as well have also increased their fees. And I continue to say that the problem we have in our country is not the government. The problem is the people. It's we the people. The government did not increase the fare. The people did. They took advantage of the position. And that's why the fares have been increased. So it wasn't the government that increased the fares. It was the people operating. Firstly, I was born into politics. My father was a very strong and astute politician. And all my life, I never liked politics. I never thought I would find myself in politics. As a matter of fact, I didn't want to get into politics. But as they'll say, life has its own meanings and how it operates. So I found myself in governance, which I've served in different capacities with the executive and before I found myself here. And I've worked with leaders that they are politicians and they've been the best to me. For example, I've worked with the two governors. I've worked with different commissioners. I worked who is the deputy governor now. But I think most of my experience was gotten from His Excellency Adewale Tinubu, where I served with him as SA. And I think I learned a lot about crisis management, governance, and politics itself. So for me, what I was expecting was what I found. But getting into this house, into this office, I found something totally different. Like I said, what I expected, what I thought I knew, getting to this house was something very else, something different. With the books we read about legislation and the legislative agenda and the rest of it is totally different. The politics in the house is bigger than what it is. And then, for all of us, for some of us that we have leaders. I have leaders, I have mentors. I have leaders, I have Adewale Tinubu, who has been my father all the while. I had my own father himself. I also had the likes of the BRF Babatunde Raji Fashola, who I worked with closely as a supporting staff. With him I worked as SSA Budget Monitoring, I worked as SSA Transport, SSA Works and Infrastructure, and SA to the Governor's Office. So, I learned a lot from him just as much as I learned. Then I had a mentor who has been, you can see his picture over there, who my father served. And then, I learned a lot from my father through him, and I'm still learning more from him as well. His Excellency Adesoji Rahuf Aregbesola, who is my mentor. We've had our good and bad times where, I've been very, very against what he was. I said, Daddy, you said me. And then, I think he liked that about me because I always stood my ground with whatever the ideology I had. And then, where I'm getting it wrong, he tells me, this is how you do it. And then, so he's been a mentor for me, and he was my dad's mentor as well. So, what more can you ask for? And also, I have one of his mentee in my office at the moment, a honorable member, the man sitting behind, Honorable Kennedy Joseph, who also happens to be my mentor. For the youth, I'll continue to say there is the need for you to be prepared. There is a need for you to learn. There's a need for you to follow before you can lead. It's not easy. It is not easy. Politics is not for the faint-hearted. And there are different levels to play politics, and there are different categories of youth. If we say the driving force of every economy or every nation is the youth and is at 65%, it means the youth are the ones that deliver the votes. The youth have always been involved in politics. The youth are the ones that vote. The youth are the ones that campaign. The youth are the ones that steal the ballot boxes. It is still the youth. And they have been actively involved, and this same youth will end up being adults and become leaders in the future. However, there's the need for you to prepare. There are youths just like you and I. There are youths just like the rest that are, we call the political good boys. Yes, yes, and they are all youth. So there's also the need for you to be prepared to take the mantle of leadership. My mentor would always say, power is not served a la carte. You must fight for it. It's forcefully taken. Those at the realms of affairs are not willing to hand over to you. And those that are waiting are not willing to struggle for power. So the power will continue to remain at the same point, except an external pressure is acted on it. So we'll continue to say the youth are not ready. The youth will continue to need to upgrade, to learn, and to learn to follow. For to lead, you must first learn to follow. And when you follow successfully, you'll be able to lead. That doesn't mean it's going to be successfully. Yes, because power, as they say as well, corrupts absolutely, absolute power. So it is also very important to state clearly that politics is not inherited. If it was, the likes of the Abiola's children would be in government, the Awolowo's would be in government, the Nnamdi Azikwe's, you'll be hearing likes of them in government. So for my case, it was just different because I was in governance before my father died. So we're both in government at the same time. So when he passed on, I tried to take over his seat. I contested for the seat. But my leaders, the party, said the party is supreme. Yes, and one of them that made that decision is sitting in my office today. Yes, that's him. He's one of them. And I'm comfortable with it because at that point in time, I was angry. But then I understood the party decision is supreme. If the party says it's not your turn, it's not your turn. So I waited my turn. And afterwards, I contested for chairman. I didn't get it. I tried to fight for vice chairman. I didn't get it. I tried to fight for SLG. I didn't get it. And the time came for the House of Assembly. After I bought my form, I realized there were 20 of us contesting for the same position. And my friend, my brother, and my colleague, him, also came out with somebody else again against me. Him. But he's my friend, he's my brother. You can only get political appointments out of respect or payback or favor for your family, but it's not politics. Politics is not just for the faint-hearted. Politics is beyond getting out of a position and coming into a particular place. When you get to the house, you still have politics to play. I know what my brother were going through in this house. We know what but it is also very important, like I said, to always make sure you're prepared for any position you find yourself. Continue to learn, have the ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn. When you have these abilities, the sky will be your limit. I would continue to praise the governor for being proactive. This is one of the best governors Lagos State government has ever seen. His Excellency Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu has been an amazing man, a fantastic man. He got right up at the beginning of the pandemic, prepared Lagos State for casualties and for the events of it happening, and so far he's managed the situation very well. So much envious that even the federal government is trying to learn from Lagos State government, and the Lagos State government is beginning to take the whole the slogan for another state, the pace setter. Lagos State government has set the pace in terms of managing COVID-19. Also, we have to give all due respect and accolades to the Right Honorable Speaker, Right Honorable Mudashiru Ajayi Obasa, Doctor, for being very proactive by coming up with the pandemic law. The bill came to the House, and he brought up the bill. He wrote the bill, and then we prepared against the COVID-19. So it was spontaneous, and it was immediate action that met readiness. So the Lagos State government has performed exceedingly well. with managing the COVID-19. I mean, if Lagos State, a state filled with 22 million people, over 22 million people, with still the daily influx of 6,000 people, as mentioned, is still below the 5,000 mark of, I mean, the COVID, the pandemic. It means that there's something they're doing right. Yes, the face mask, the laws, and it came up every day to tell you the new updates. We've released many people, we've released 30 people, we've had new cases, and it has managed all through with little or no percentage in fatality rate. I'll continue to praise the governor, the deputy governor, the commissioner for health, the right honorable speaker for making laws to also cover the governor, the essential workers, the legislative arms, and the rest of the people that are in the front line, fighting the COVID. So we'll continue to appeal to Lagosians. All the rules and laws the COVID law that has been given should be adhered to. Wash your hands regularly. Use your nose and face mask. As you can see, I'm not using mine because I'm in my office. Once I step out of the office, I have it in my face. And also, always try to breathe when you're using the face mask. Make sure that you continue to observe the social distancing and continue to pray for our country and Lagos State as a whole. Okay, so it's also, again, it is very important and necessary to state that heaven help those who help themselves. As Yoruba will say, Omotoba Shipa, Yaragbe. What that means is that is you who shows the attitude to work that will be helped. You won't sit in your house and expect me to bring jobs to you. When you make the effort, we would support you. Now, what we've done is that we've also started an empowerment program where we train youth. So what we've done is we've also created an avenue whereby one contractor to 5 youths in the state. So what it means is that when you have somebody doing one program, you can also have 5 youths in a local government attached to them to learn. But what you realize is that our youths are quick. They want the quick money. I was at a particular ward where I spoke to them and I was telling them that what we intend to do now is to create drains for them in the community and put street lights. And part of the youths revolted. They said, no, that's not what they want. And I said, okay, but this is what is going to help you grow in the community, at the same time create security, and then we're going to do the empowerment. Said, no, just give us the money. And I said to them, I'm not going to give you the money. And they said to me, then you won't be able to fix the light. So who is at the loss? Is it myself or not? Because, it is very important to state that the legislative functions or legislative duties, or as a legislator, you have no budget. Whatever you see any legislator doing, he's doing out of his pocket. There is no community, there's no constituency allowance, nothing. You're just such an ability to be able to lobby the executive to get things done. That's what makes the difference. That's what makes you a super legislator. You lobby Commissioner for Works to get roads done, Commissioner for Education to get school fixed, Commissioner for Health to fix your primary healthcare center, Commissioner for Transport to have good roads and the rest of the things. That's what you do. So, but then they don't see it that way. They believe as long as you've voted for, you must continue to give them from hand to mouth. So we'll continue to advise and encourage them to find a skill to learn, and then if there is the need or the opportunity for you to be employed, make sure your CV is ready. Make sure you have a good CV and then you're employable. So that's my advice to them. I would like to say, Chopa Akinyemi, one of the contestants that we contested the seat for, is another amazing guy. Is somebody I respect, and I also want to say big congratulations to him because he also gave palliatives out. I already gave to 150 people in the CDC. It's quite encouraging because out of the 20 other people that contested, I think he was the only one who gave out to people. And this is the attitude I want us to talk about and work against, which is when people come out to contest, they come with everything they promise heaven and earth, they give all the monies for the short period. And after the position is not given to them, they withdraw totally and then abandon the people. It is quite disheartening. When they took the seat from me, the reps, I never stopped giving back because my primary focus and assignment is the people of my constituency, and their welfare is paramount, and I will continue to do whatever it takes to take care of them. So then again, I always say, politics is not just it's not a source to livelihood. anyone in politics should have a second address. The second address means you must have a job, you must have investments, so you don't rely solely on the money coming from the office. So I would go any length to make sure my people are in good condition. No matter what I have to do, if I have to borrow the funds, I would borrow the funds and pay back later. If it has to do with my salary, I did. At some point in time during the palliative, I gave up my salary to the front line as the health workers and the security. At some point in time, I also gave out my salary to the good boys that that were in the community, doing the community policing. When we had the boys from our boys and the likes of them, the Keseri boys and 1 million gang, them when they were coming. So these guys stood their ground and then they said, you know what, not in my community. So there's no money too much to give back to the people. There's no money too small to give back to the people. Having to give back to the people is a thing of the heart. You might have all the millions in the world and the billions in the world and still not see the need to give back to the people. But when your people mean everything to you, you will give them whatever it takes to make them happy. So that's what I did for the palliatives, and that's where I got my money from. That's it.